We're about to witness one of the most mysterious wonders on Earth. It's the largest work of art in the world. So vast, in fact, you can only see it from the sky. And it's even been suggested it was made by aliens. The Nazca lines, high up on a plateau in Pampas de Humana, Peru. Images carved into the very ground of the Pampas. These pictures are huge, but they're not visible or even apparent from the ground. You have to take to the air in a balloon, plane or helicopter to see these dramatic shapes. They must be some kind of message, but it's a message we can't understand. This extraordinary figure, thought to be an astronaut by some. Who is he waving to? What does all this mean? The whole landscape is crisscrossed by puzzlingly straight lines. They go everywhere for mile upon mile upon mile. It's like flying over an airfield. How were these huge designs laid in the landscape up to 2,000 years ago by a people whose history is now lost? Back down to Earth, all over the terrain are reddish boulders, brought here through the action of glaciers thousands and thousands of years ago. The Nazcas move the stones to expose the gypsum underneath, creating a different texture, a different color to the boulder-strewn land around. A simple but brilliant manipulation of the landscape. The lines have survived centuries because Nazca is one of the driest places in the world, and its remoteness has saved these fragile works from the destructive tendencies of modern man. But the mystery surrounding these astonishing creations remains. What could they have been for? Why on this vast scale? How could the artists have seen their finished masterpieces?
By far the most famous attempt to understand the lines was proposed in the 1970s, and it also relates to the stars. When you mention the Nazca lines to most people, they think of visitors from outer space. This theory might seem a bit far-fetched, but there are people in the sci-fi community and even in the mainstream who believe that aliens had something to do with the making of the Nazca lines. I've arranged to meet one of them here. His name is Luis Vazquez. He's professor here in Peru of English and law. Because I understand that you believe that there was some external intelligent form which helped complement the Nazcans in being able to build these lines.
Yes, there's an speculation about this. Because, you know, older cultures bring their knowledges to new cultures. And in this case, we have knowledge that has no precedent. Okay, so just the Nazcas had it.
So you've seen these UFOs, and do you believe in it that there are aliens here as well?
Well, that's a theory that those UFOs are part of the aliens' intelligence. Well, as a researcher...
What do you think now? I mean, personally, do you think there are... Huh?
As a researcher, I cannot prove it, but I suspect that, yes, they are from out of this planet.
The theory goes something like this. The lines were constructed to signal visitors from other planets, and as runways for their spaceships. Looking down at them from the air, it does seem vaguely plausible.
Whilst it is fun to think that aliens have something to do with the creation of the Nazca lines, and it still is the most famous theory, it's very difficult for me to prove a negative. I can't prove that the Easter Bunny doesn't exist. I can't prove that Santa Claus doesn't exist. But for me, amongst all these arguments, the most disrespectful of the lot is that it assumes that the Nazcan people didn't have the intelligence or the desire to create these lines. I just don't buy that.